All right, we're talking big snow totals and getting bigger where it's snowing. We'll have the latest on the radar coming up in his Weather Watch Alert.
And Fox 61 is out there on the roads for you, tracking the travel mess.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a Weather Watch Alert.
Good morning. First at 6, we begin with a Weather Watch Alert for nor'easter slamming our state. Good morning. Thanks for being with us, America areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. As you might see there on the bottom of your screen, we've got a list of school closings and parking bans scrolling across. It is growing. As of just a few seconds ago, there's now a ban for all tandem and empty tractor trailers traveling on I-84 that has gone into effect. And Governor Lamont said that ban will be in place until further notice.
And we here at Fox 61 have you covered with live team coverage into this nor'easter. In addition to our reporters in the field, we have 2 meteorologists tracking the latest on this storm. And we're starting off here with meteorologist Matt Scott and Rachel Piscatelli.
Good morning. Good morning for the most part. Where it is, there you are. Hi.
Hi.
Where it's
Good to see ya.
Where it's raining, there's some very heavy rain. Where there's snow, there's some very heavy snow that's come down. Some areas already receiving about a half a foot. And this storm is not getting out of here anytime soon.
Long duration.
Where we are looking for some impressive snow amounts, it is going to be a very interesting day ahead. There. That said, everyone's going to get into the wind and the power outage potential, even a little flooding too. We'll talk about that coming up. Let's go to the boards. Talk about this Weather Watch Alert, and it looks so vague when you put it like this, 0 to 18 inches, but that's really an accurate assessment. Some areas high up in the Litchfield Hills may be seeing over a foot of snow. Meanwhile, down on the shoreline, it may be hard pressed to get anything at all, especially towards New London County, where the numbers are closer to 50 than freezing right now. Outages are a possibility. The wind is going to pick up later on with this heavy wet snow. It is certainly possible to get some tree branches and power lines down. We're going to be watching for that. Here's the live radar. Look at the very impressive rainfall right now approaching Pomfret, Putnam, over into Woodstock territory. Meanwhile, we're talking that changeover into snow across the northern parts of the Hartford metro area. This rain snow line has been kind of waggling its way across 84 and 91 to mix 2 numbers together there over the last couple of hours. As you head up in elevation, that's where the snow has been very impressive. Meanwhile, big, heavy, wet snowflakes have been the norm across the board. Where it is snowing, you can see up towards the Berkshires, into the Green Mountains of Vermont, back into the Albany capital region. Very impressive snowfall totals there. Snowfall coming down at a rate of almost an inch an hour in the northern parts of the state. It tapers off considerably, but it's going to come and go over the next few hours. Have no fear. We're not done with this just yet. As the temperature cools down a little bit, we will look for the opportunity for some of this snow to accumulate in areas where right now we're not getting any. It is 36 in Hartford, 34 in Meriden. Look at Groton at 46, even the Quiet Corner at 42. That's why it's rain. But we'll look at parts of the Litchfield Hills and we'll see numbers at just around freezing, and that's good enough for it to stick and accumulate. And there have already been some very impressive numbers there. We'll look at the winds for a moment. See, they're out of the north and west. Sustained winds at 26 miles an hour in Groton, gusting up to 36. So you know what? Later on, as the wind gusts potentially get higher, if you had the heavy snow and the big winds and the low visibility all in one place, you'd have blizzard conditions. That is not going to likely be the case across the board, but that doesn't mean we're free and clear of any problems. And for that part of the story, let's switch over to Rachel. She's going to talk about those winds and some flooding, power outages potentially too as well.
Hey, good morning, Matt. So kind of getting in on some of your reports this morning of how much snow we've already picked up in some areas. We're looking at about 5 inches in Winstead already, Burlington about 3 inches. And I wanted to mention North Simsbury. So I've been getting reports on Twitter of North Simsbury. So this was a report at about 5:30. I just looked at my Twitter and about 4.5 inches have been updated in North Simsbury. So that's really impressive, that snowfall total total rate is really impressive right now, currently in the North Simsbury area. Granby, that's got to get updated because I think that's a little bit higher than that. So you'll notice that we've also picked up a lot of rain. We've picked up almost an inch of rain in portions of the shoreline this morning and down into Groton, New London. So there's just a lot of precipitation falling from the sky, with most of us in the 20s or the 30s this morning. The wind speeds right now northwest northeast rather, 5 to about 20 miles per hour, and most gust potential is picking up there too. So as we move forward through time, you'll notice that by 9:30 it's still snowing for some folks. We are also watching the potential for a bit of a dry slot to work its way in late this morning into the early afternoon. But either way, that radar fills back in towards this afternoon and evening with more snowfall on top of that. So we are still forecasting an additional 2 to even 8 inches of additional snow on top of what's already fallen. You can see along the Connecticut shoreline, it's mainly just rain. I do think you'll maybe see a couple of snowflakes, but again, your accumulation will be little to nothing along the Connecticut shoreline. But that breeze potential is there too. Gusty conditions well through Wednesday. We'll detail it out for you coming up in just a bit. Let's get a check in on the roads. Lauren, good morning.
Good morning to you, Rach. Good morning, everyone. We did have several crashes and closures earlier this morning, but some good news here at 6:06. No crashes to report as of right now. We do know that there is some very slow-moving traffic Enfield all the way into the Windsor area on both the north and southbound side of I-91. And actually, I'm going to bring you back to this right now. See how slow the yellow, the orange is? We have a lot of slow-moving traffic over in those northwest hills. We had several closures up there this morning. Those have since cleared, though. In and around the capital city, things are moving fine as of right now. But as you take a live look out there right near exit 33, Jennings Road, it is just pouring out there on I-91. So just be mindful, give yourself plenty of time to get where you need to go. Give the DOT crews plenty of extra space. Now let's take a look out over in New Haven. Things are actually looking pretty good. We do have some rainfall, but overall traffic is moving freely. Now I did mention this morning crews with the State Department of Transportation. They are working very, very hard to make sure that the roads are clear for your morning commute. Josh Morgan is joining us this morning from the DOT to talk about those efforts. Josh, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. How are you?
Good. Things are actually going pretty well out on the roads. The DOT crews are out there in full force. How many crews are out there on the roadways trying to get them clear for everyone?
Yeah, all 600 of our trucks and 900 drivers are on standby because we know the roads are going to, the weather's going to change over to snow a little bit later. But right now we have about 215 crews out across Connecticut, with the majority focused in those higher elevations in the Litchfield County area.
And obviously, like you said, those higher elevations, northwest corner, those are some of the problem areas that we are looking at. Now, this tractor trailer ban on I-84, this is crucial for the morning commute, especially, and Governor Ned Lamont has not put an end time on that. How important is that ban for the DOT crews in terms of getting the roads clear effectively?
Yeah, I mean, that ban just went in about 5 or 6 minutes ago in coordination with some of our sister states along the 84 corridor here because of that precipitation, because of the heavy winds, and that just makes our jobs a little bit easier. Anytime a tractor trailer jackknifes or crashes, that really slows down travel. That really stops our ability to plow and clear the roads. So that's a safety measure, and we'll be out there clearing the roads all day today.
And that is great news that the governor put that into effect on the I-84 corridor, especially down in the areas that it is snowing. The last snowstorm, we had upwards of a dozen tractor trailers jackknife involved with other vehicles, so it's really important. Now, lastly, before we run out of time, what should drivers keep in mind if they have to be out on the roads today?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down pretty heavy, the rain right now. Even though it's not snow, that can still limit your visibility. It can still make the roads a little bit slick. So just plan ahead, give yourself some extra time today. And definitely when you see our crews out there, don't try to pass the plows. That's going to create an unsafe situation for everybody on the roadway.
Josh, we really appreciate you taking the time. This is not the last time we are going to hear from him. We're going to be checking back in with Josh coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Thanks so much. All right, Tim and Eric, I'm going to send you.
All right, well, we're continuing our team coverage of this winter nor'easter with Fox 61's Brooke Griffin.
Yeah, she is live in Winstead right now. Brooke, good morning to you. How are things looking?
Good morning to you both. We did finally make it to Winstead, and let me tell you, getting from Torrington to Winstead, 100% dicey. There are plows out, but it is not great whatsoever. We had to take it very, very, very slow. Now, this is also Route 8 right here. This is in Winstead, right off the exit. We are standing in the McDonald's parking lot right beside the Cumberland Farms. You can see a few cars driving by. If you got that in the shot real quick, you can see a few people driving by, but these roads are very, 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 very slippery. Again, we had to only take it at about 30 miles an hour or so, maybe 40 on the way here. And that's just because now it's coming down pretty quickly, pretty heavily yet again. Now there's a lot of plows out, but whether that be with the CTDOT, whether that be with private contractors, there are a lot of plows here. I don't think I've seen a truck yet that doesn't have a plow attached to the front of it, which is a good thing. We love to see that. But of course, if you don't have to be out today, I would not suggest it, at least in these early morning hours, because again, even we had to take it incredibly slow on the way over here just to get from Torrington to Winstead. We even had to at one point we got off an exit and it was very slick, very hard to stop, very hard to get going again. So just keep that in mind. Not a good morning to be out and about. Stay home if you can. Back to you guys.
Hey, Brooke, thank you. Yeah, stay safe out there. And we are keeping a very close eye on this nor'easter this morning, especially there in the western parts of the state.
And Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro is joining us now live with a preview of what he's working on. Angelo.
Hey, good morning, guys. We are live in the storm tracker as the rain and snow continues to fall, tracking those conditions on the roadways as you make your morning commute. We'll have more details from Talon County coming up in the next few minutes. Stay with us.